We began our journey early in the morning from Aguas Calientes. Our first stop was the bus station, where a steady line of buses carries visitors up to Machu Picchu. As we waited, we decided to hire a local tour guide near the bus stop, hoping to better understand the history behind this incredible place. Surrounded by misty mountains, the atmosphere felt almost unreal. The clouds drifted slowly over the peaks, wrapping the landscape in a quiet, mystical beauty. It genuinely felt as if the ancient Incas were still protecting this sacred site. There was a deep spiritual energy in the air, something powerful yet impossible to fully put into words. Once inside, we learned that there are several circuits to explore, and we chose Circuit B to begin our experience. Machu Picchu is one of the most extraordinary legacies of the Inca Empire. It is believed to have been built in the 15th century during the reign of Pachacuti, one of the most powerful rulers of the Inca civilization. Historians suggest that Machu Picchu was likely used as a royal estate or a sacred religious site. What makes this place even more fascinating is how it was constructed. The Incas built the entire city using massive car stones, perfectly cut and fitted together without mortar. Despite frequent earthquakes in the region, the structures have remained remarkably intact for centuries, showcasing the incredible engineering skills of the Incas. The site includes temples, terraces, plazas, and living quarters, all carefully designed to blend harmoniously with the surrounding mountains. The agricultural terraces were not only used for farming, but also helped prevent landslides and controlled water drainage. Interestingly, Machu Picchu was never discovered by the Spanish during their conquest, which is why it remained largely preserved. It stayed hidden from the outside world until 1911, when American historian Hiram Bingham brought international attention to it. Today, Machu Picchu stands as a symbol of the ingenuity, spirituality, and resilience of the Inca civilization. Visiting this place is not just about seeing ancient ruins, it's about stepping into a piece of living history. The mountains around Machu Picchu are not just a backdrop. They were deeply sacred to the Incas and central to how they understood the world. In Inca belief, mountains were known as apus, powerful spiritual beings or guardian deities that protected the land and its people. The peaks surrounding Machu Picchu, such as Huayna Picchu and Putucusi, were considered sacred and were likely part of religious ceremonies and offerings. There's also a strong connection between these mountains and astronomy. The Incas carefully aligned many structures with the surrounding peaks and the movement of the sun. For example, during the solstices, the sun rises and sets in alignment with specific mountains. This wasn't accidental. It helped the Incas track seasons for agriculture and marked important ceremonial dates. One of the most famous features reflecting this is the Intihuatana, often called the hitching post of the sun. It was likely used to observe the sun's position during key times of the year, especially the winter and summer solstices. Many historians believe that Pachacuti, the Inca ruler, may have chosen this location because of its strategic and spiritual significance. From high vantage points in the surrounding mountains, the area reveals itself as a naturally protected and symbolically powerful landscape, surrounded by sacred peaks and aligned with celestial events. Despite often being called a sundial, it wasn't used like a typical clock. Instead, it was a ritual and astronomical stone that helped the Incas track a movement of the sun throughout the year. The name Intihuatana comes from the Quechua language and roughly means hitching post of the sun. The Incas believed that during certain times of the year, especially around the winter solstice, the sun moved farther away, and rituals were needed to symbolically tie the sun to the earth to ensure its return. This place is no longer open for tourists to visit. The Intihuatana was likely used by priests or astronomers to mark solstices and equinoxes, guide agricultural cycles, and perform important religious ceremonies. Many similar stones across the Inca world were destroyed by the Spanish, but the Intihuatana at Machu Picchu survived, making it one of the only remaining intact examples of this kind of sacred instrument. The stones at Machu Picchu are one of the clearest proofs of how advanced Inca engineering really was, and honestly, they still impress modern engineers today. The Incas mainly used granite, a very hard and durable stone that naturally exists in the mountains around the site. Instead of transporting materials over long distances, they carved stones directly from nearby quarries, sometimes even shaping them where they were found and then moving them into place. What makes their construction extraordinary is a technique called ashlar masonry. Stones were cut and shaped with incredible precision. Each block fits perfectly with the next. No mortar, cement, was used. The joints are so tight that you often can't even slide a piece of paper between them. This wasn't just for beauty, it was brilliant engineering, especially in an earthquake-prone region like the Andes. The stones are slightly angled and irregular in shape, so during earthquakes they can shift slightly and then settle back into place instead of cracking. Doors, windows, and niches are wider at the bottom and narrower at the top, adding stability. Many corners are slightly curved, which helps distribute stress. Some blocks have subtle locks that hold them together naturally. This is called as House of Inca. When the emperor visited with his spouse, this residential place has been chosen to stay. This has 5 bedrooms, a toilet, a living room, and a patio. The first room is the bedroom, decorated with alpaca and llama leather. The 5 rooms in one house is considered as the palace for Inca. Archaeologists see the houses at Machu Picchu as a great example of practical engineering adapted to a harsh mountain environment. Not just beautiful, but incredibly functional. Most houses followed a simple, consistent plan. Rectangular layouts, usually one room, single doorway, often trapezoidal for stability and power, and thatched roofs made from ichu grass. The stone walls you see today are just the base. The roofs are gone. Before even building the walls, the Incas carefully prepared the foundation, which is one of the most important parts. layers of crushed stone and gravel were placed underneath. This acted like a natural drainage system, preventing water buildup. It also stabilized the structure on steep slopes. Because the Andes Mountains are earthquake-prone and receive heavy rainfall, this design was critical. The houses were slightly tilted inward, and the trapezoidal shapes helped them resist shaking and collapse. These are shelves inside the house, not windows. Their shape helps make the walls more stable. During the Inca period, there is no solid evidence of the use of furniture such as tables or chairs. People mainly sat on the ground for gatherings, meals, or craft work. Items they used were either hung on the walls or placed on these shelves. Moving stone to build Machu Picchu is one of the most impressive parts of Inca engineering, and it wasn't done the way people often imagine. First, most of the stone didn't come from far away. The Incas used local granite, quarrying it right from the mountains around the site. Some stones were even carved directly from exposed bedrock within the city itself. So instead of transporting huge blocks over long distances, they minimized the need to move them far in the first place. There's also evidence of unfinished stones and quarry sites near Machu Picchu, showing that shaping often happened gradually as stones were moved into position. The builders were part of the Inca Empire, which was vast. It stretched across modern-day Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Chile, and Argentina. Everyone gathered to construct Machu Picchu under the Inca emperor. People and human labor were considered as vital elements for the society by the emperor, and it was said that he even completely ended human sacrifices. At Machu Picchu, the sacred rock stands as one of the most important spiritual features of the site. This massive carved stone is believed to represent the shape of nearby mountains, possibly mirroring Pumasillo. For the Incas, mountains were sacred beings known as apus, and this rock likely served as an altar for rituals and offerings. Surrounded by ceremonial structures, it may also have acted as a geographical marker, guiding movement within the city, especially toward Huayna Picchu. More than just a stone, it reflects the deep connection the Incas had with nature, spirituality, and the surrounding landscape. As for herbs and medicinal plants, there's no exact planting map preserved, but based on Inca knowledge and nearby regions, it's very likely they cultivated medicinal herbs for healing, aromatic plants used in rituals, possibly dye plants for textiles. Near residential areas, there may also have been small kitchen gardens where people grew everyday plants for immediate use. The Inca civilization valued knowledge and skill development. Most children learned practical skills such as farming, crafts, and social responsibilities within their families and communities. Formal education was mainly reserved for the elite, especially 3 years to 13 years old children, where young nobles were trained in administration, religion, and record-keeping using tools like the quipu. Some locals mentioned that they taught mathematics as well. While Machu Picchu has many important structures, there is no clear evidence that any building there functioned as a school. Yet, locals mention one of the large buildings here is a school. The Inca Empire did not use a traditional writing system like books or manuscripts. Instead, they relied on oral traditions and recording devices like quipu, knotted cords, for accounting and possibly narrative information. The major loss of knowledge happened after Spanish contact, not before. During and after the conquest, especially following the arrival of Francisco Pizarro, many records, quipus, and cultural practices were destroyed, suppressed, or lost. Some scholars do think the Incas may have protected or hidden important knowledge or sacred objects during the chaos of conquest, but that's very different from systematically destroying their own records. The entire site is naturally protected by steep mountains and deep valleys. The Incas relied more on geography and controlled access than walls and armies. The surrounding peaks were considered sacred and part of a spiritual landscape. Archaeologists believe that a range of everyday and specialized crafts were practiced by the people living at Machu Picchu. Textile weaving was one of the most important skills, using alpaca and llama wool to create fabrics for clothing, status, and religious purposes, with fine textiles valued even more than gold. Skilled stoneworkers precisely shaped and fitted stones, giving the site its iconic tight-fitting walls. Daily life also included food preparation, such as grinding maize into flour and making chicha, often within residential areas. Pottery was used for cooking and storage, while knowledge of herbal medicine supported healing and rituals. Craftsmanship also extended into religious practices, where offerings and ceremonial objects reflected the deep spiritual life of the Incas. Machu Picchu was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983, thanks to its outstanding cultural and natural significance. It was selected not only for its remarkable Inca architecture and engineering, but also for its unique location within a dramatic mountain landscape that reflects a deep connection between humans and nature. After taking in the history and beauty of this incredible place, we made our way back, catching the Peru rail train to return to Aguascalientes, ending our unforgettable journey through this ancient wonder. While we were waiting for the train, this group of Peru Rail employees entertained all of us, This was such a joyful and a thoughtful act for exhausted tourists. As I said before, Peru Rail was amazing, and people in Peru are always precious. With that, our day came to an end. We returned to Aguas Calientes, taking in the last moments of this unforgettable experience. Later, we headed back to Cusco, resting up and looking forward to exploring the Sacred Valley the next day.